Hi, I'm Amaya, and welcome back to the podcast. This is episode 6. As always, we have a lot to get into, so let's go ahead and get started with some of the trending topics from the previous few weeks. The first one that I have here is that Mark started his own company. This is kind of the result that we wanted to hear after he suddenly left NCT, and I was wondering, is he going to continue in the music industry? Is he going into another venture like acting? Is he leaving celebrity life? Clearly, he is still sticking with music and just leaving SM to do it. Uh, I completely forgot the name of his company, so I'm gonna find that for you guys. Okay, the name of his label is Upper Room, and people have said that this has some kind of religious connotations, which is expected with Mark. I believe his first solo album, has a lot of religious connotations as well. He's talked about being Christian before, so this makes sense. I'm now curious, like, is he gonna make gospel music? That would be a really not really unexpected, but a really new path for a former K-pop idol to explore. So I'm curious as to what this company will bring. That's really all I have to say on that. Not a topic that I have much to discuss on. Our next topic for this week's episode is Gunwook's strange behavior, and this is a topic that has had so much happen on it that, like, if I talked about this the first day that it happened, I kind of would have been too early because we've had so many developments in this story. So Gunwook he's a member of Zero Base One. He's one of the members that has remained in the group. He was not under Yehua Entertainment. He was at a Fansign, and they pick numbers for which fan is going to get a Polaroid. So first of all, to even be at a Fansign, you have to support the group in a way. For this one, I believe it was buying albums, and then they randomly, quote unquote, randomly select who gets to come to the Fansign. So everyone there is kind of a major fan of the group and has really financially supported them. He picked a number, and he was supposed to say what number it was, and whatever number he said correlated to the fan who was going to get a signed Polaroid from him. So he said it was fan number 10, but we could all see that it was fan number 9 because the ink kind of bled through the paper a little bit. And he originally denied the claim. He was later confronted about it by this fan with video evidence. He ended up saying that it was true, that he had called out the wrong fan's name on purpose, and he released an apology. And then there's kind of been a little, like, mini scandal related to this, with people pulling up old clips of him on variety shows where he seemed to be ignoring, not variety shows, on music shows when he was a host, seeming to ignore some groups. And then also there's been a video with a traffic cone where he's getting out of a car, kicking a traffic cone. People have said that this is AI. Uh, Actually, I have not fully looked into the video. I'm gonna look into the video now. I'm back. I've done a little bit of research. I found nothing to verify whether the video is AI or not. It does, like, the physics look kind of weird, but I don't know. I've never. Normally, traffic cones are a little bit heavier than that. He kind of just bumped into it, it slid, and then he walked past it in the video. Have you ever hit a traffic cone before? Like, you can hit a cone with your car, and and it's a little bit harder to knock over. But either way, um, he basically, then there was something about him coming out and saying that that fan was actually really pushy, and the only reason that he had falsified the results of the draw were because she was going to basically come after him if he didn't. So I think this whole scandal has revealed a lot. First of all, I'm very confused by people trying to suddenly bring up old videos. Like, where were these videos before? You know what I mean? And then it's not like, okay, kicking a cone is, I can't believe this is a kicking a cone. I mean, I get that it's like a strange thing to do, but no one was hurt, right? Even if this video is real, just for the sake of argument, for the sake of argument, even if the video is real, I mean, there's nothing really wrong with kicking a cone. Ignoring people, I mean, like, it's a job. Sometimes if you recorded any person a lot, you're gonna get clips of them doing stuff that's kind of weird. The random draw, I do think, of course, it was dishonest. The first time he was confronted, he didn't come forward about it. I think it's messed up, but to be honest, I never really thought about this process and about like when you're a fan and you enter sweepstakes and things like that, about them just falsifying the results. I never thought about that. I always thought I would be the type of person to just assume that it was real, but at the same time, I'm not the type of person who would ever enter an event like that. First, I've actually touched on this a little bit in a previous video. I think on my video about parasocial relationships, I talked about this. I talk about that one a lot, but um, just the whole concept of it, buying a ton of albums for the chance of being picked to have like a fan call or going to one of these fan events, uh, are a big monetary investment. And then the chance that I might not even get picked was just like, I would never do that. And then at the same time, I think it's kind of obvious that if you have a fan that supports you more than others, you would, of course, want that person to win these certain things so that they keep supporting you, right? Because it is a job, you know? And people, when people go to work, they do let certain people do things that they don't let other people do. Like, uh, you know, even like at concerts, you know, when celebrities will pull fans on stage, they'll pick people that maybe you know this is someone who's always supported you in a different way than everyone else, you know? So it's not like I would think that these things are fair. I just never put that much thought behind it. I think this could potentially turn other people off from going to events like this for the group. I'm sure fan number 9 isn't going to keep putting her money towards this, but I don't know. I think a lot of things with the K-pop industry are kind of quote unquote rigged. I'll just say anything. A lot of things with anything are rigged. You know what I mean? Like the person who does the best job at work isn't always the person who's going to get a promotion, because you might do the best job but you don't have the best relationship with your coworkers or with your manager, and then you're not the person considered for a promotion even though you've contributed the most. Okay, so I'm talking about things not being fair. Okay, I got to correlate this back to my main point. Uh right. So that's the same way like with these random drawings for things. How do we know? You know what I mean? We never know. K-pop survival shows used to just blatantly rig the votes. And then now, because there's an outside system that monitors the votes, now they just use editing and, oh, check out my video about survival shows. But now they just use editing and angles, storytelling, confessionals. They use all these different things to just portray who they want us to vote for in the show. So things have always been rigged in that way. So, I mean, he's not a bad person for this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure, as many people have been saying, I'm sure that a lot of idols have done this and they just didn't get caught, you know? And that that kind of sucks, but I don't know, it's kind of like that's just how it is. You know what I mean? I would just, going forward, I if I were someone who participated in events like this, I would just think more about where I'm putting my money, and maybe I wouldn't do events like this. If I had previously done, like, tried to do these sweepstakes and everything, I would no longer do it going forward. I would probably, if I wanted to still spend that money on K-pop, I would probably spend it more on going to concerts, getting better experiences at concerts, maybe getting closer seats, as opposed to something that's randomly selected. Because something that's randomly selected can always be rigged. I think in what I was just saying, sometimes I got a little off track, but hopefully it all comes back around and makes sense. So I don't have to do any editing to make this all line up. And I don't think this should reflect. I could see this reflecting poorly on the group, but I really don't think it should, because I think it's something that's probably pretty common in the industry. So, Zero Base One, I shouted them out a couple weeks ago for having a really good song. Top 5 is a really good song. And I think they'll be just fine. Next comeback, I think they'll be all right. This shouldn't put a damper on their success. Next, this was something that was surprising to me that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. But Cat's Eye's world tour sold out. It's not like I didn't think their tour could sell out. It's more so I'm surprised that it did happen, just because we've had a lot of issues recently with K-pop groups touring, right? Of course, Katseye is not really K-pop, but they're very much in that realm and really associated with K-pop. And to see their tour sell out without one member, you know what I mean? And we've this is something that I want to talk about maybe in a future video as well. But I think that a lot of the outrage, a lot of the reactions that people have are people who, mm, I don't know how to say that. Okay, so what I want to say is that a lot of the people who react to things aren't people that were going to support them anyway. For example, like me, I talked about how Manon wasn't there. I didn't like it, right? I didn't go to their first tour. So with her being gone, I of course wasn't going to go to the second tour. So I was a person who said something about it, but it's not like I've never bought a Cat's Eye album. I've never bought a Cat's Eye album either. So I'm not one of the people who was like they're not going to miss my money basically because I was never a financial supporter of the group. Then you have people who, okay, well, I just want to see the group anyway. So like they're the children who love them, the teenagers, young adults, they have literally every different demographic possible as a fan, right? Those people were going to go regardless because they're just such big fans of the group. So even though they might have said, "Oh, it sucks that she's not there," they still went. They were still going to go regardless. So I feel like I guess they're just oh, and this kind of correlates back to my video about publicity stunts. But I think there's just not enough overlap between people who feel upset by something and people who will do something about it for it to make a difference. And I thought about what this means for the group going forward. Like, of course, we don't know why she's gone necessarily. We can only speculate. We don't know if there's a timeline for her to come back internally or if it's kind of like she's we'll bring you back when we need you. But I wonder what this means, like, if this shows that Cat's Eye does not need one member in particular. You know what I mean? They're stronger as a group. Kind of like, this reminds me of the Pussycat Dolls. Like, Nicole Scherzinger did not go on her own and become I mean, she's a big name. Like, she's a household name. No shade to Nicole Scherzinger. But she came back with the Pussycat Dolls for a reason. So basically what I'm saying is the group identity is bigger than any individual identity. So it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? That one person left, two people left, whatever, we switch you guys out. Who cares? That's basically what I'm saying. And there was something else I wanted to say about that. What does this show about? Huh. Let me think. Oh, also, what does this say about the state of music? You know what I mean? So many musical artists are selling out, typically more Western artists, at least here in the US. K-pop artists have kind of struggled to fill seats in within the last year or so. But people like Olivia Rodrigo, I believe Sabrina Carpenter may have sold the tickets to her tour before she dropped the album. Bruno Mars, I think. Again, I'm not sure. But people are selling, first of all, we're so big on pre-ordering albums, right? Just because I like your previous music doesn't mean I'm going to like this new album. Especially when every album you're like, I'm trying something new, you know? The concept of pre-ordering an album, the concept of buying tickets to a concert before the corresponding album even dropped. So say you didn't like that album, you have to listen to 15 songs at that concert that you don't enjoy. And even if you're the best performer, nobody wants to listen to an hour worth of music that they don't like. So I think this kind of shows that fandom culture is so big. Even with like Western artists where we typically would think of it as being a little different than K-pop. Like Olivia Rodrigo is a household name. She doesn't need to have her fans don't need to be super passionate for them to fill seats. But when you do things like buy tickets to the concert before I drop the album, it kind of does say that only your really core fans are going to be attending because casual listeners, like I would say I'm a fan of Olivia Rodrigo. I really like her music, but I didn't buy a ticket to her concert because, like I said, if I don't like that album, I don't want to listen to all of those songs. So unfortunately, I just didn't get a ticket. I just can't go. I think it's kind of, I don't know if I really like pushing out casual listeners. I think this is probably better for them, maybe better for them financially if you have a really strong fan base. You can fill seats with people who are basically guaranteed to want to go. But it does kind of suck when you're someone who likes a lot of different artists to have people push you to buy tickets before you're even sure about the album. Yeah, my braid's coming undone. I'll redo it. And then, well, since I started talking about myself, I also have lightened up my eyebrows a little bit today. At first, I didn't really like it, but because it's not too strong, like you can still see that I have eyebrows. I think it's not too bad. Next time I would do brown instead of doing like I would do a darker brown instead of doing the exact same color as my skin. And what else do I have going on? Uh well, since we're here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for the video. This is not the end. This is not the end. Also, hype up my video because those really help my video get pushed out to a wider audience of people who may like it. And before, I really didn't know what hyping up a video did, but my videos that get hyped tend to perform the best. So shout out to you guys for doing that. You that hit that, smash that hype button. And yeah. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and do the song of the week because we only have one. The song for this week is Baby Flower by Triple S. This song is fire. Can you say flames? This one's really good. It gives me kind of a J-pop vibe, maybe like an anime opening. I think those are two different things, but you get what I'm saying. It's so inspirational. The song really feels like I said I wish it came out in spring, earlier in spring. We're still in spring right now, technically. I wish it came out in like March because that would have hit so hard. It would have been like I'm on campus, the cherry blossoms, the like finishing up your last semester of school, graduation. This would have felt like changing with the seasons. It would have been so good if it dropped a little bit earlier. But nevertheless, I always love seeing Triple S perform because they're just such a big group and they perform together way more often than NCT does. So it's cool to see the whole group together. I like their dance and it's really nice to see them perform because whenever someone's in the front, they're giving it their all because you only have 15 seconds. So, ooh, 15 seconds, if that, because there's 24 of them. So, you better make these 5 seconds count, girl. You need to get up there and do your dance. And yeah, they've done a good job promoting this song so far. Okay, now for our last topic for today's episode, which is probably the one you guys have been waiting for. We're going to talk about Iconic by Mistake. This song to me feels okay, first of all, it kind of came out of nowhere, right? This song was announced on June 7th, and I guess the official song will be dropped on June 12th, but we got the music video June 10th. So I was kind of surprised by that as well. I'm like, wait, the song's supposed to drop June 12th. Why are we getting it on the 10th? No problems from me, whatever. So I was kind of like, okay. You know, the recent HYBE girl group releases have been kind of up and down for me. I did like Boompala, but when we were on that Pinky Up, what's the other song? It's Me celebration streak, I was not vibing with it. So I was kind of interested in whether or not I was, what was that? Oh goodness. I was kind of like, okay, of course I was going to tune in. It's three of the biggest K-pop girl groups right now. K-pop. Two of the biggest K-pop girl groups and Cat's Eye. So of course I was going to tune in. I sit myself down, turn the TV on to watch the music video. The video did look a little gray, and I was like, oh, it would have been so cool if it had some more color, if it was a little bit brighter. But it was probably hard to do that because I'm pretty sure they filmed it on green screen because the girls were probably in different continents at the time. LE SSERAFIM and Islet. Wait, different continents? Was Katsai not? I mean, we don't know when this video was filmed because Chaewon was healthy at this point, so this had to be over a month ago. But yeah, so it was cool to see Chaewon in the video as well. Uh, it was a little gray. It was kind of, I don't know, it's a little violent. I did see someone on TikTok. I forget the account, but he was talking about how the actually I'll link his video in the description box. But he was talking about how uh they're kind of portraying a lot of violence with these girl groups, and it's not the same thing with HYBE's boy groups. And I do think that's something to, pay attention to. I don't like the idea of that. I think it's like people getting hit in the head with a shovel, we're dying, we're fighting, getting teeth pulled. Eyelet has been doing the getting teeth pulled thing, but it it was like a cute interpretation of the idea. So when I did watch the video, I was like, oh, I really am not the biggest fan of that idea. But then what happened after that? Okay, the song itself is fine. I actually asked you guys in my post the other day. I asked you guys what you thought of the song, and you guys said it was fine. So that was probably the least interesting opinion to have on it, and it does kind of suck. But let me actually. Okay, yeah. 15% of you said that you loved it, 70% said that it was okay, and 15% said pass out of 20 votes. So, yeah, seems like a pretty mid song by all accounts. I did expect, I either thought that it was going to be something crazy because that's what they've been going for, or I thought that it was going to be like, that's hard. I thought for three huge girl groups collaborating that the song was really going to slap. So that was a little bit of a bummer. But yeah. So the song, that's kind of the worst thing about it, is that it's kind of forgettable. Like, it's catchy. The lyrics are okay. It's kind of, they've got their little sassy cat's eye style lyrics. So that's something that's pretty cool. The dance I liked. I loved when we got to see them all perform this song together on M Countdown. I didn't expect that. I didn't even know that Cat's Eye was still in Korea. So I definitely wasn't expecting to see everyone perform together. Of course, they had to perform basically with their own individual groups, but that's probably because their schedules were so busy that they couldn't all align on a time to do it. Now, for things that I love the idea of major groups collaborating like this and us actually getting to see them perform. Le Seraphim collaborated with Santos Bravos on Boompala remix. So the guys from Santos Bravos just did some Spanish lyrics for, I think, one of the verses. I haven't heard the whole song. I've just heard the snippets. But from what I've heard, I really liked it. And also, who else has collaborated? They did a remix of It's Me and Boompala layered on top of each other. I think they also did one with Pinky Up mixed with some of those other songs. So, uh, and HYBE also, Santos Bravos did a remix of Kawasaki with An Team. So they're really trying to build that HYBE family idea, which I think is great. Of course, we're from the same company. It costs us nothing extra to have these two groups collaborate. Why not do it? And I've talked in the past about how I loved Super M. I loved Girls on Top. I just thought that it was a really, like, those were cool experimentations with some of your most talented artists. Why should you not? Why should you not take advantage of the talent that you have at your disposal? JYP let me all the way down when they did their collaboration. And first of all, it was for an advertisement. So it was like, all right. But that song, I couldn't, like I don't have enough words to talk about how disappointing it was to have all of these people. You had all these people hop in the studio to make straight garbage. My opinion on the JYP, I don't even remember. It's Magic. Yeah. That song, I think it was meant to make you mad. I think it was supposed to do that. I have seen people say that what is the song called? Iconic by Mistake. I have seen people say that this song is like a rage bait kind of song. Uh I don't know. I like the concept of talking about your haters. Like that's okay. I think what nothing really was amiss for me. The song is just all right. So I don't think anything's quite wrong with it. I think it's all right. And I think everyone did a good job performing it and doing their part. It doesn't have a lot of singing, which is something that we've kind of grown accustomed to with this style of music. But I do want to hear people sing a little bit more. But this song was kind of just a. They only gave us a couple days before they dropped it, so I think it was just a little, you know what? Why not? Let's do a collab. Let's have these people make music together, get on the stage, and of course they had been practicing because everybody knew the dance. But I'm saying it's not like this was some grand thing that they were really waiting to put out and they thought that it was going to revitalize their company and like change the K-pop industry. I think it was just like, hey, why not have all these groups make a song together? And it's gonna go crazy viral and it's gonna make us a lot of money. I think that's what the thought process was. And yes, oh, also, I wonder what all these HYBE collaborations are leading to. Is it just, hey, let's have our big groups make songs together? Or are we gonna get some type of HYBE family concert akin to SM Town? Or, you know what? Is HYBE the only company that doesn't do that? I'm trying to think now, like, is WeverseCon a HYBE thing? Uh, because even like FNC does their little Kingdom concert. Little FNC does their Kingdom concert. SM does the SM Town. I don't know if JYP doing a company performance, but perhaps HYBE is gearing up for something like that. Or like, would they perform this at festivals? I don't know of any festivals where all three of these groups are performing, but I think that would be really cool to see. They had a lot of people on that stage, guys. They were looking like Triple S. But yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I already told you to like, comment, subscribe, hype it up, and I'll see you in the next episode of The Amaya Show. Thanks for watching. Bye!